Hey, good people, how you doing? We start this episode of 254 Rugby by paying tribute to Nick Mudimba. Nick Mudimba was a sports journalist initially with KTN, with Radio Africa on Bamba TV and Switch TV as well, before moving to CGTN in 2020, where he joined as a senior reporter and graduating from sports, covering current affairs and human interest stories, wider scope. Wow. Nick passed away suddenly on Sunday. His death obviously has filled the media world with shock. But if you look at Nick was a larger than life character. He had friends from across the spectrum, from the media world, and from the most unlikely of places. Nick was a great guy, I must say. Got to know him from his days at KTN as a sports reporter, and obviously he would inquire about rugby matters. And I was working at KRU, and from interacting professionally to becoming friends, hanging out, talking about stuff, checking up on each other. Kind of guy who grows into a brother, to the extent, initially when he'd call and you'd think, okay, this guy is calling about work, and then he's like, nilikuwa tu nakujulia hali, or I'm around the neighborhood, that kind of thing. That was Nick. Nick was also a pilot. Progressive guy, loved the finer things in life. Just generally your all-round great guy. Never did we see Nick, stressed, never. He was this happy guy, and he lived his life. He's lived it to the fullest, and he's passed away. It is sad, but I guess we have to accept that he's passed on. To the friends, to the family, to the workmates, colleagues of Nick Mdimba, our condolences from 254 Rugby. The media world is poorer without Nick. He definitely touched a lot of lives, and a great guy he was. He's left us. Thank you for the memories, Nick. I just don't know, how to capture it more than this. There's many guys who just testify to the fact that he was the kind of guy who made it a point to know what was going on with you, away from your professional life, and that was Nick for you. And you know, it's sad, but I guess we do accept the reality that it has happened. Fare thee well, Nick Mudimba. Thank you for all the memories. You served your time here on Earth, and we'll cherish the memories of your interactions, your infectious smile, your great personality through and through. So rest in peace, Nick Mudimba. Okay, this is episode 29 of 254 Rugby. A lot happening in the rugby circles in Kenya, on the pitch and off the pitch. We're going to start with matters off the pitch because, kama kawaida, every last Monday of March, we go into the Kenya Rugby Union's annual general meeting. In previous years, it's been animated because we do have elections, and I'll tell you, the build up to those elections, you just had to be there to witness them. It was, it was something. Yeah. In 2025, there's no election, but still, there's drama because the Kenya Rugby Union's AGM was adjourned, and I'm going to read verbatim from this report in the Daily Nation, written by Ayumba Ayodi. And, it goes this way. It reads that the Kenya Rugby Union's annual general meeting, scheduled for Monday at the RFUA ground, was adjourned to allow for a mediation process resolved at aimed at resolving ongoing disputes within the KRU board. Speaking on behalf of the members, Kisumu Rugby Club Treasurer Eric Ondieki proposed a 30-day adjournment to facilitate mediation led by John Ohaga as directed by the Sports Dispute Tribunal. Homeboys official Oscar Mango, who seconded the motion, and other members unanimously agreed, and this prompted the KRU chairman, Sasha Mutai, to officially adjourn the meeting. Now, a lot of stuff has been happening at the KRU, and again, I'm going to extract content from this report by Ayumba Ayodi. See, Sasha Mutai, the chairman, had previously sought legal intervention from the SDT after some board members, led by the vice chairman Moses Ndale and secretary Ray Olendo, attempted to suspend him on March 6. The AGM had initially included an agenda item to discuss Sasha's conduct, but the SDT acting chairperson, Njeri Onyango, intervened on 12th of March, suspending the board's decision and ordering mediation on the 19th of March. Now, John Ohaga is a former rugby player, former SDT chairman. He was appointed to oversee the process and is expected to report back to the tribunal by 2nd April. It's also important to note that Mwamba Rugby Club had filed motions ahead of the AGM seeking the removal of Olendo, Ndale, Treasurer Joshua Aroni, and Director John Kilonzo over various allegations. However, the Mwamba chairman, Jason Rosario Braganza, later withdrew the motion for further consultation. Now, what are Mwamba's grievances? They include allegations that Olendo had submitted a forged credit reference bureau document before his re-election on March 29, 2023. This led to his suspension from the KRU board on August 4th, 2023. However, Olendo successfully challenged the suspension at the SDT, which ruled on March 5 of 2024 that the action was illegal and void. The SDT further stated that any breach of data privacy concerning the Credit Reference Bureau did not fall under its jurisdiction. Ayumba Ayodi goes on to quote Eric Ondieki, the treasurer of Kisumu RFC. This is what Eric Ondieki said, and as captured by Ayumba Ayodi: there has been disagreement within the KRU board over the past weeks, and today we met as affiliates. We felt that we needed to give mediation a chance, as proposed by the Sports Disputes Tribunal, said Ondieki. This is the most prudent way to resolve conflicts and ensure the growth of the game. Ondieki added that Mutai and the board allowed members to hold discussions on various challenges affecting rugby governance, particularly the ongoing boardroom wrangles. We identified communication as a major challenge between the board and affiliates. We agreed to bridge this gap across the Kenya Cup, Championship, Nationwide League, and other competitions. Additionally, Ondieki emphasized the need for improved internal audit mechanisms, stronger sponsorship mobilization strategies, and a review of the KRU constitution to enhance the management of the sport. Okay, now, look, KRU has had its drama for quite a while. I'd say over 10 years. And remember when I started by saying that every March we are treated to our version of March Madness? This is it. KRU is at a point where they're struggling to get sponsors back because there was serious sponsor attrition in the mid 2010s thereabout. There were incidences where Bamburi Rugby Super Series, matters around Bamburi Rugby Super Series rubbed the then sponsor Bamburi Cement the wrong way. There were issues of officials, disrespecting Safaricom, who were then sponsoring the Safari Sevens. And then just generally, there's just been a lot of, just issues around integrity and governance, and it's gone on while the sport continues to suffer. In 2014, that was the last time Bamburi Rugby Super Series was held, and the Bamburi withdrew their sponsorship. By 2015, Safaricom were out. Tusker have been in and out. They've also been disrespected. Basically, that has been it. Basically, KRU has not been doing much to endear itself to the public and to other stakeholders, including the corporate world, who are capable of coming in to give the sport a boost in terms of support, partnerships, etc. And it all boils down to governance. I like to say that the way we run our Kenyan rugby politics is a reflection of the way Kenyan national politics is carried out. We we go for people who don't have an interest in growing the game, in running the game well. It's all about self-interest. And, if we really want to move forward, we need to get rid of these wrangles. We need to look at how we run the game. And the blame is not entirely on the KRU board as well. It's on the people who elect these board members, the clubs. I mean, who are you electing in your clubs, first of all? How are you running your clubs? And you see, it's a reflection. And I think what I'll say is that really, we've seen Kenya Rugby rise, we've seen it fall. And I mean, you guys, cut the crap and decide to put your heads together and get this game going. I mean, it's unfortunate. Like this year, the Lionesses are on the verge of qualifying for the World Rugby 7 Series. Do we really want to undo the hard work they're doing? Shujaa, back on the World Rugby 7 Series after dropping down to the Challenger Series. They are fighting for survival. They need stability across the board. And I mean, these power plays, they eventually trickle down. So guys, you got to be there for the game. It's not about you. It's about the game. The game is bigger than you guys. So, I mean, all of you need to sort that shit out. I mean, we need to get Kenyan rugby stable, Kenyan rugby competitive, Kenyan rugby being lucrative as well for players, for sponsors, and raising the profile of the game. But we are not going to do it with all these fights, with all these self-interest motives that seem to be the order of the day. That is the end of my little rant. Now, me usually like to talk about what's happening on the field of play. And we did have the Enterprise Cup semifinals on the 15th of March. Remember, we didn't go live last week, or we didn't go on air last week with a show. Now, this is what happened in the Enterprise Cup on the 15th of March. These are the semi-final results. Kabras Sugar defeating KCB by 25 points to 21. They are through to yet another Enterprise Cup final. They're the defending champions. So there's a 4-point margin of victory in Kakamega. They'll play against first-time finalists Menengai Oilers. Menengai Oilers going for their second 15th trophy of the season. Remember, they won the preseason Impala Floodlit tournament in November. And they disposed of nondescripts by 41 points to 10. So the final will be between Kabras Sugar and the Menengai Oilers, who will win the 2025 Enterprise Cup. Remember, the Enterprise Cup has been played since 1930. East African Rugby's longest running competition, probably one of the oldest running competitions in Africa, south of the Sahara. Yeah, south of the Sahara and north of the Limpopo, for that tired phrase. And the final will be between these two sides, sponsored by the Rai Group. And it will be interesting to see how that turns out. Now, away from that, we still have more knockout rugby going on. Remember, the leagues are now in their playoff stages. And we did have the playoffs in both the KRU Championship and the Kenya Cup. We are going to start by looking at the KRU Championship, where we did have the playoff results there, and Homeboys making sure that they stay in the second division for yet another season. The Catholic Monks doing them no favors, winning that game by 28 points to 14. The Catholic Monks looking for a quick return to the Kenya Cup. Remember, these two teams were relegated at the close of the 2023-2024 season. Now, the Z-Tech Oaks, man, theirs is like, your story inabamba sana, because these guys, they've literally come through from the third tier, the KRU Nationwide League. Last year, they won the KRU Nationwide League, defeating Mombasa in the final. The two sides were promoted to the KRU Championship. This year, they have done well to stay competitive, make the playoffs, and now they're just 80 minutes away from qualifying for the Kenya Cup, assuming that their semi-final fixture goes well. They defeated the JKU Cougars by 7 points to 3. That match was played in Mangu, and you can see it was a really close game. We're going to look at the pairings now for the KRU Championship semi-finals. And here we go. In the KRU Championship semi-finals, it's going to be Masinde Muliro versus the Z-Tech Oaks. This match taking place in Kakamega on the 22nd of March, this coming weekend. Sorry, on the 29th of March, which is this coming weekend. Masinde Muliro have been in the Kenya Cup. They will be looking for a return there. They have been imperious all season, unbeaten, unplayable. Z-Tech Oaks, on the other hand, I think they've punched above their weight, and really no pressure for the team from Thika Road. They are working well under coach Ramsfeld Matekwa. And whatever the result on Saturday, the Z-Tech Oaks have surely, they've surely done well this season. Now, the Daystar Falcons, the nearly men of the KRU Championship, they have stumbled at the semi-final stage time and again. I think 2-3 seasons in a row. And this time they face the Catholic Monks in Athi River. They need to win this game to qualify for the Kenya Cup. But they've been here before. The question is, how bad do they want this? Or will the Catholic Monks be running off with the result? If we were to give predictions for the results on Saturday in the KRU Championship semi-finals, this is how I'd look at it. I'd give Masinde Muliro the advantage against the Z-Tech Oaks. And the Catholic Monks, for me, they are favorites when they play against the Daystar Falcons. The onus is on the Daystar Falcons to qualify for the Kenya Cup. That would be big. That would be great. And they have to prove us wrong on Saturday. Now, those were not the only playoffs that were, happening over the weekend. We also had the Kenya Cup playoffs. And with these ones, this is how it went down. We did have the 4 teams in the playoffs. Menengai Oilers were made to fight for that 31-18 win against Kenyatta University Black Blood. Black Blood is a side that are playing in the knockouts for the second season in a row. Last season, they lost to the Oilers again by 26 points to 10. This game was close. At halftime, I think it was 2018. The Oilers just, having more gas in the tank for the second half. You have to give it to Black Blood for a spirited fight. It's great to see the varsity side becoming contenders, and I think the targets for them next season, they should actually now be able to back themselves up and say, we want to go all the way, get to the semis, get to the finals. Now, Nondis continue to own Kenya Harlequin. There's this interesting statistic I was looking at. Ever since Nondis returned to the Kenya Cup for the 2023-2024 season, they've not lost to Queens. They defeated Queens in the regular season, last season, and then when they met in the playoffs, they owned them again. It happened again this time round, and now that is 4 games in a row that Nondis have defeated Kenya Harlequin. The result, 38-22. Looking at it, Nondi's a formidable side. They've quietly been rebuilding a lot of experience and youth as well, particularly in the forwards. To see the likes of Tony O'War, he's had stints at Strathmore Leos, at Homeboys, at Mwamba, and he's now at Nondis, bringing in a lot of experience, as well as Charles Omondi. Charles Omondi, former Strathmore Leos man, played at Homeboys before making the move to Nondis. Bring a lot of experience and stability to the forwards. But for Queens, you would have expected them to actually end the streak. But again, this is sport. It is Nondis and the Menengai Oilers making it to the Kenya Cup semis. Now, the Kenya Cup semis will be taking place this weekend, the 29th of March. Now, we just want to look at the fixtures for the Kenya Cup semis, and here we go. Again, this is cut and paste from 2024. Kabras Sugar versus Nondis, that match taking place at the Forest in Kakamega. Kabras have not lost a game since February 2022. These two sides met in the Kenya Cup a few weeks ago. Kabras Sugar denied a bonus point by Nondis, that game ending 7-3. However, this is knockout rugby, and where we are right now, Kabras start as overwhelming favorites to reach another final. They've been in every Kenya Cup final since 2015, their debut season. Since 2016, which was 2015, their debut season, and they start as overwhelming favorites against Nondis. Nondis doing well again and just working slowly. They will go to Kakamega fancying an upset result against the defending champions, Kabras Sugar. Now, the second semi-final pits KCB against the Menengai Oilers. These two sides met in the regular season also a few weeks ago. KCB just shading it by 2 points, that game ending 29 points to 27. And that was a close result. As these two sides meet in the Kenya Cup, well, it's knockout rugby again. Whatever, it doesn't matter the margin of victory, so long as you get the result. It will be recalled that Menengai Oilers are the side that ended KCB's reign as champions in 2022 when they knocked them out in the quarterfinals. That game at the KCB Sports Club, ending 24-17 to the Oilers. Jeff Ominde was impeccable with his boot on the day, kicking home 8 penalties for all of the Oilers' 24 points. For KCB, Oliver Mangeni, in his first season as head coach, replacing Curtis Olago, will be looking to build from that result, from that 29-27 victory against the Oilers a few weeks back. KCB have had 2 fixtures in the interim, both of them against Kabras Sugar. The first one ending 25-17, the second one 25-21, both of them defeats. And I think Mangeni will be looking that as a good build-up, a good workout ahead of the match against the Oilers. We have to choose a winner here. I'll go with KCB for the victory. The Oilers come into this game as the underdogs, and underdogs are always dangerous. And we'll be looking forward to the results on Saturday evening once the games are done, and then we'll be able to determine, is it going to be another KCB Kabras final? Will it be Nondis pulling off the surprise over Kabras? Will it be the Oilers over KCB? Will it be KCB getting the result over the Oilers? Well, we wait for Saturday evening for the results, and then we talk about it. Now, we're coming towards the close of the show, and Shujaa will be in Hong Kong this weekend. They're already in Hong Kong. They will be in action at the 5th round of the World Rugby Sevens series. The squad was announced sometime last week. Here we go. That's the squad. Kevin Wekesa, the regulars basically. Kevin Wekesa, Vincent Onyala, George Oro, Dennis Abukuse, William Mwanji, Brian Tanga, Samuel Asati, Tony Omondi, Nigel Amaita, Patrick Odongo, Jone Tavaga, Floyd Wabwire, and Festus Shiasi, who comes in for Jackson Siketi. That's the only change in the playing unit. There's also been a change in the technical bench. Morgan Ngumbi coming in for Steve Sewe as team manager. Morgan is a rugby guy. Congratulations to Morgan. He has been in the setup for quite some time. Wishing you the best in the role in Hong Kong and Singapore, and also wishing Shujaa the best in Hong Kong and Singapore. Let's just look at the standings heading into the 5th round in Hong Kong. Shujaa, talking about wanting to finish in the top 8 and automatically surviving the matter of the playoffs in Los Angeles. But they have their work cut out. As you can see, it is Argentina, the defending champions, who are on top of the standings on 68 points. Spain are on 64 points. The Spaniards have really invested in their sevens program, and it's bearing fruit. Fiji are third on 62 points, leveled with South Africa. France are on 48 points. Australia are on 38 points, as well as New Zealand. Then Great Britain are 8th on 32 points. Now, Kenya are on 15 points, level with Uruguay. USA are in 11th place on 9 points, while Ireland are 12th on 7 points. And as it so stands, were the series to end today, these 4 teams at the bottom would be destined to play in the playoffs against teams from the Challenger Series, the top 4 teams from the Challenger Series. Now, for Shujaa, they still harbor ambitions of overhauling Britain, and that would have to see them actually win the competition in Hong Kong, while hoping that Britain struggle really in Hong Kong. Let's look at the fixtures and the pools first of all. In Hong Kong. So here are the pools in Hong Kong. Probably you can just do a quick overview as well. Pool A has Argentina. They won the 4th round in Vancouver. They are in the pool with Fiji, USA, and Ireland. Pool B has South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and Uruguay. Pool C, Spain, Great Britain, Kenya, and France. Argentina and Fiji looking good to make the quarters from Pool A. South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, I think all 3 teams will be marching into the quarterfinals, because remember, it's the top 8 teams that will be ranked at the close of pool play who will make the cup quarterfinals. Now, Pool C, Shujaa is there, but they have their work cut out against France, Great Britain, and Spain. I do fancy France, Great Britain, and Spain to be contending for the quarterfinals. The onus is on Shujaa to target 2 scalps there, target the scalp of Spain and Great Britain, and qualify for the quarterfinals on day 2, and look to finish further ahead of Great Britain as they look to get out of that 9th position and declare themselves safe when the competition comes to Los Angeles. So that's it. We have looked at the pools, we've looked at the squad, and as always, we do wish Shujaa the best of luck. And if you want to catch the games, here are the timings in Kenyan time, East African time. There we go. Shujaa will kick off their fixtures against Spain on Friday, 28th of May. It's 28th of March at at 6:39 a.m. Then they'll play against Great Britain at 9:23 a.m. And then on Saturday, 29th of March, 2025, they play against France at 5:16 a.m. East African time. Well, this is how they'll play in Hong Kong, and the target for them there is to win 2 games and look to finish in the top 8 and proceed further in the cup competition, gain more points, build on that momentum heading into Singapore, which happens a week later. And would like to wish them the best of luck. And hey, this has been episode 29 of 254 Rugby. As always, we do appreciate your feedback. We do appreciate you supporting us by watching, by sharing, by subscribing, and tell a friend to subscribe to this channel for more rugby news, more rugby updates. We'll be signing off right now. Thank you once again for watching, and as we sign out, we will sign out with a moment of silence in memory of Nick Mudimba, who's also a great rugby fan. So see you later, and fare thee well, Nick Mudimba. Thank you for the memories, and thank you for your service to the media industry, to sports, and to humanity as well. Yeah.